Morning, guys. Back again with another progress update. Where I last left off, we had done the silver highlight in one of the side tentacles, smaller guy, just to see how it would heal and kind of gauge what we were in for with silver. And the healing was remarkable, and it's even brighter than it was when I showed it off last time, honestly. So with that being said, we proceeded with the silver highlights and the front tentacles, because why not go with more, right? And they worked really, really well. I'll show them off in just a minute. We also added we added a lot more filler in behind the tentacles. We used texture of an octopus eye around an octopus eye, and we added four more eyes. They're going to be highlighted with silver and colored in with red. So I'll just show all of that off. So we have one eye in here. It's going to be right in there. Then we have another one down here. You can probably see where the eye is going to be. And then we have one here and one here. So those are going to be red and silver. You can see silver highlights in here now. And just for reference, that's the silver healed. This is 3 weeks now. Super, super bright. Some of this silver has darkened a little bit over the day since it's been tattooed. But I seen my artist today, and he assured me that there's probably just some blood mixed in with it. And he thinks that it's going to heal out quite a bit lighter than it looks right now. But if it doesn't, we're just going to add some more to it. We're still in pretty foreign territory, so, it's just about figuring it out. Nothing's going to be perfect right away. I mean, it's amazing that our first try was like that. I'll be amazed if these end up being as bright as that one, just because they look a little bit darker. But in these places, these are as bright as the one on the side over here. It's just about how the light hits it. So yeah, these eyes are going to be colored in red and highlighted with silver, is the idea there. Our next session, we're going to be, in 3 weeks, we're going to be adding finally the belly button. We're going to be building a tentacle that kind of burrows out of the belly button and travels down here. And it's going to be much like these tentacles. Similar style, just probably a different tentacle kind of thing. Next week's session, we're going to be doing a double line on the ones on the side. So like this one and this guy over here. Because we double lined the ones on the front, and they seem to hold up quite a bit better. I think double lining is going to be necessary for all the black on black work. Someone said that they couldn't quite see the tentacles clearly, so I'm trying to get lots of different angles and close-ups of them. I know that black on black is a bit of a trick to film. It's a bit of a trick to photo, because especially these are quite complex. But yeah, once we get the double line on these tentacles, they're going to pop more like the ones on the center. So, yeah, I was a big fan of how the silver worked. I wasn't sure how it was going to work the first time, but after I healed that one little spot, I knew that it was a success. It became clear to me that we could do more with it. I'm just always apprehensive at first. I'm always taking things slow when we start. And that's why it's usually my choice, actually, just to do one little spot first. Even when we first did these filigrees, it was let's do something small. Let's not go crazy with this. Let's see what we're working with. Now, I can proudly say that piece there that I'm showing has been done for coming up on a year. Now, if that gets to a year and it still looks like that, then we know with pretty good certainty that black on black holds up for good. Pretty well. Because a tattoo stops aging, sort of, at around a year, and then you just get the wear and tear. So, if that's still like that in October, and I got a good feeling it's going to be, then that will mean that whatever we do is more or less going to stay very, very similar to how it healed after 2 weeks. The red is holding up really, really well in here. And you probably see that the red is poking out here a bit more. Our next session, we're also going to be adding red to the eyeballs here. There's a couple eyes on this one, and there's a couple of eyes in this one. So we'll be hitting all those little eyes the next session too. And in 3 weeks, we're going to be filling in this stuff here with the silver and black highlights like I talked about, the pattern. And we're probably going to take out these skulls finally too. Rick has finally figured out a way to, he wants to try and fade them out so that it doesn't look like they were ever there. We've been looking at those for a long time because they're kind of the awkward part of this whole thing for me. When we got rid of these skull knockers that were up here around my nipples and on my chest, was it last year? Yeah, I think it was last year now. When we got rid of those, the only thing we couldn't get rid of was these skulls that were attached to them. And they're honestly the most awkward part of the whole suit for me. Because, first off, they're not my favorite. They look really bad to me. I'm not happy with how they were done to begin with. Rick tried to touch them up to make them look a bit better. But overall, once the skulls are made the way they are, there's not a whole lot you can do. Especially since they're kind of small. And they just don't belong. And they're certainly not up to the same caliber as the ones on my chest. So it's it's time for them to go. Some people were not understanding the teeth around the eye and stuff. But I think that, the teeth are going to look a lot... they're going to look a lot more suiting overall to this suit. Once I get all of the silver highlights into these teeth. Because the teeth that we created on the tentacles of this suit, they're kind of uniform with the teeth around the eye. So everything is going to work together really well. Yeah, so with the red and the silver highlights, pulling this all together, we're going to have a lot of uniform colors from top to bottom. The only thing that I am thinking about introducing farther down the line, I haven't talked to Rick about this yet, and I probably won't for a little while because we've got so much on the go. We have so many plates spinning. We have at least our next 4 or 5 sessions mapped out already, what I want to do with them. So I haven't brought up further ideas yet, but I'm planning on putting, and I'm thinking he'll go for it because Rick has gone for all of my suggestions so far. He's thought they're all decent ideas. I'm thinking about doing some purple highlights in the tentacles themselves. So the way I would use the purple is in the negative that isn't shaded or dotted in the tentacles. I'm thinking about using purple just in kind of the high areas to show that it's like a visual trick. You put the purple in the surfaced areas of the tentacles, it'll make them seem as if they're a different color all around. It's just that you're only seeing the purple in the closest spots to you. So it's another 3D effect that will help the tentacles pop off with the black background. So say if there's no purple in the background, but there's purple in the tentacles, then you're differentiating the tentacles from the blackout. I think the purple will go in much like the red, where we'll have to use a much brighter, almost a pinky purple, I think, to get it to stay. Either that or a really light bluey purple. I'm not exactly sure which way I'm going to go with that yet, because I haven't even talked to Rick about it yet. He may say no, but I doubt it. I think he'll appreciate the idea, and I think that we're both in the same mindset of take as long as we need to make this as good as we can, and we'll end up with a better tattoo at the end of it. And also, this is kind of the trial ground, as I've said before, where not that I don't like my torso, but we're learning everything we can do with black on black and white on black and all that stuff during my torso work, so that when we get to my sleeves, we'll already have a very good idea of what's doable. And I'm even gonna, I think I've mentioned before in another video, but before I hit my sleeves, I'm going to come back to places like this, that rose and the moon. I'll probably do some silver in the moon now, and I'll do either silver or red highlights in the rose. I haven't decided which, maybe both. I think I could probably use both, really. And I'll be doing some highlights and the roses on my neck as well in here, in red or silver or both. They'll probably be 3 or 4 sessions of highlights on existing black on black pieces once we finally get through the torso. So I think I've probably got my next couple years figured out because I plan on doing both of my sleeves. I have the inspiration for one of my sleeves already figured out. We're going to make a whole piece out of it. It's going to be one piece top to bottom. It'll go right from the bicep shoulder area, like the cap of my bicep, all the way down to the bottom of my hand and sort of connect into the moon. That's already been figured out. I don't quite know what I'm going to do on the right arm yet, but I'll figure that out. I'll probably have that figured out before I'm done the torso too. It's just, it's about finding supporting ideas, things that are going to work with the subject matter I'm creating on my torso, because I want this to all be very connected and cohesive this time. I don't want to have just all kinds of ideas that don't connect, or else to me it's like, why bother, where the blackout already is doing that. I don't really necessarily want to take away from that unity. I'd rather complement it or create something comparable to it, because I think for a lot of people, like, the blackout was far enough and cool enough of an idea, but for me it was just like, though it is, I want to do more because I'm not done yet, right? It's not that I don't like the black. And to the people who think, if that all fades, you're going to be pretty unhappy. It's like, no, if it all fades, then I've still got the blackout, right? Like, at the end of the day, the blackout was pretty cool on its own. I'm adding another layer to it. It's going to be even better it'll be the blackout plus, right? Not less than the blackout or better than the blackout, just different. And then from there, it's just about your taste. Yeah, I'll just do one more show off of the silver. It looks more white than the white did. That's the funny thing. People's apprehension about trying new things. This should be showing people, because this is, again, 3 weeks old, this should show people that there are better ideas out there than just the ones that we know about currently, the popular ones. Because all of the silver that we did is definitely brighter than the white. Not that the white is terrible, but it doesn't compare to that. So, in my opinion, silver over white. Anyway, this is my little rant. Camera problems. And so yeah, I'll be doing another video next week, and that'll be showing out the relined tentacles and more silver highlights, as well as probably some red highlights. I don't know how long that session will be. Right now, some of them are only an hour and a half. The last session I had was an hour and a half. The one before it was 3 hours. So you never know what you're getting with this kind of thing, because it's just kind of, you set up certain goals every day, and then you get those goals done, and the clock rides out where it rides, and yeah, you don't know how long you're going to be sitting for with this kind of thing. And that's perfectly fine. Because, yeah, we've got a lot of work to do still. So if you don't enjoy it, you're going to get burnt out along the way. It's the main thing. Anyway, if you found this video interesting or useful in any way, make sure to give it a like. Likes help a lot more than people think. And if you like any of my other videos, share this channel with your friends. And I'll talk to you guys again soon.